purpose today is not to transform the quality of the rest of your life, it's to actually save your life. The Center for Disease Control says 65% of you are going to die from a preventable illness, an illness that's related to stress. The American Psychological Association says that every month, 77% of you have physical symptoms and 73% have psychological symptoms, all related to stress. And this may seem counterintuitive, but women who say they have a position of power or control are 70% more likely to die as a result of stress than women who do not feel in control. So anyone here not feeling in control? Because that would probably be better. But how many feel like you have to be in control? In looking at the survey results of the past stress, a lot of people are experiencing stress. Looking forward to the challenges, there's a lot. The major ones, these are what's in the survey, all the different stresses and challenges, and see which one's your favorite ones. Moving through each one of those, we identify the three that I think were most important. One was more competition within the industry, and then changes in the economy, and both of those lead to increase in financial pressures. Does that make sense? I mean, we all know what our expenses are, we don't know where our income's coming from. That's the challenge. That's why it's permanently stressful, always facing the unknown. So let me give you a certain definition of stress. And don't worry about remembering any of this, I'll make sure you have all the materials. First definition is stress is resistance to change. I mean, every time a change happened, if it took you in a direction you wanted to go, where would there be any stress? But there's just lots of challenges in life. There's lots of unknowns, and all of us have a tendency to project a negative into it. How many of you have heard the phrase, the fear of the unknown? And we all do that. How many of you heard the phrase, the joy of the unknown? Kind of a strange concept. But isn't it true that every joy you've ever experienced before you did, it was unknown? And is the unknown by definition positive or negative? It's unknown. But we project the negative, and that's a habit. You're not ever going to stop that. One of the things I'd like you to get out of this is that stress is just going to be part of the job. That's why I say it's permanently stressful. Life's permanently stressful. You're not going to learn anything that's going to eliminate stress in your life. That's just not the way it is. You can't control your initial reaction to anything. If I knew you well enough, I could say one word with a tone in my voice and a look in my eye, and I could push an emotional wave through you of hurt, of anger, of worry. Your family knows how to do this. And when they don't like how they're feeling and think you're the reason, they know how to punch your buttons. But they're our buttons. So even though we can't control our initial reaction, we can learn how to control our second reaction. We can learn how to move through it faster. You have to recognize when you're having it in the first place. So there's something I call the automatic stress reaction that I think happens anytime, anything, or anyone isn't the way we want it to be. We go through this process. Every time we're resisting that change of holding our breath, tensing our muscles, having self-doubt, thinking negative, and getting serious. Have you noticed yourself doing that? And aren't we pretty good at it? I mean, we don't decide to do this. It just happens. All throughout the day, when we're forced to stop and wait, most of us are kind of in a hurry. We've got things to do, people to meet. And these things slow us down, and we have a resistance to it. So like when you are at the stoplight and you're late already, how much does your upset influence how long the light is red? Not at all. But how long does it influence how long it feels like it's red? So here's all you need to know about stress management. Choose to do what you're doing while you're doing it. So if you're at the stoplight, choose to be at the stoplight. If you've got an overwhelming challenge of finding new business, choose to have that challenge. The more we resist those changes, the more stress and frustration and worry and fear we'll experience that keeps us from moving in a more constructive direction to actually address it. And we have habits that do that, and it's killing us. And I want to help you learn something that's different than I think you'll learn in anything about stress. Most things about stress are about exercise and diet. How many of you already know it would be good for you to exercise more? How many of you have known this for a long time? How many of you know it would be good for you to eat less? How many of you have known this for a long time? How many of you would just feel more stress and guilt of a program focused on exercising more and dieting? So that didn't work for me. I assume it's not working for you. What I want to help you learn how to do is recognize it faster and move through it quicker. I'll give you tools and techniques for doing that in yourself, because no organization is healthier than the person at the top. And how you are permeates the organization. But then I'm also going to teach you before you leave here at 1:30 how to remove the majority of conflict in your life. Because it's not about time and money that we think is the source of stress. It's really the pain we have in our relationships at work and at home that eat at us. So I want to help you learn how to do both of those. Let me give you the second definition of stress and its relationship to change, because I think this is the most proactive way of thinking about the whole thing. Second definition is stress is a signal that change is needed. I mean, the stress you experience, whose stress is it? It's yours. Now, we've been trained that it is a result of the circumstances and situations of our lives. It's the way we think and talk. This caused how I'm feeling. So if that's true, and I don't like how I'm feeling, what do I have to do? I got to change this. But it may be that I have something to do with how I'm feeling. And if that's true, then maybe I could change how I'm feeling, and that would affect how I behave, no matter the situation or the challenge. 95% of people don't know that. 95% of the people, I think 100 of us, have a habit of worry. But if you notice this picture, the worry is pointing in a direction the person does not want to go. Isn't that what's true about worry? It's pointing you in a direction you don't want to go. So the opposite of that is where you do want to go, right? What's that called? So let this sink in. The opposite of a worry is called a goal. You cannot prevent yourself from worry. But what you could learn to do is notice it quicker, faster, and flip it to its opposite, which is always a goal. And then take action towards that. I'm going to teach you how to do that today. Here's the third definition, and this is all you need to know. Stress occurs whenever I'm unable to create a successful image about change in my mind. Now, I learned this when I was a child. My mother read me a book. You know, the little train who thought he could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I can. But we forget that in the middle of the challenges of the day. The trick is to learn how to believe that you can without knowing how. Most of us, if we can't see how we're going to solve the problem, we go into that we can't. I don't know how. But how often do you know everything? Hardly any time. Every success you've had, didn't you have to kind of figure out the how? So you already have the ability to believe that you can, even if you don't know how, in certain areas of your expertise. A problem comes, you don't worry about it, you'll figure it out. You just want to take that same ability that you already have in one area and apply it to everything. To learn how to turn from that automatic stress reaction to its opposite is the talent to develop. So every time you have that automatic stress reaction of holding your breath, tensing your muscles, having self-doubt, thinking negative, and getting serious, you want to flip it. What's the opposite of holding your breath? Yeah. Everybody take a deep breath. Okay, some of you need practice at that, I can tell. You know, we just don't open our breath up big, and you need to do that on a regular basis. Anyone heard the wives' tale about when you get upset, count to 10? Because in counting to 10, you'll take 10 breaths, and things can change in that. It breaks the trance of the stress just to take the breath. It's that important. It stops the process that's going just to take a breath. But it's more powerful if you take the next step. What's the opposite of tense muscles? Relax completely. Now, any movement that's happening in your body right now is because of muscle tension. So to be completely relaxed means to be absolutely still. Most of us have difficulty doing that and being awake, which is evidence of us being sleep deprived. So you want to learn how to be completely relaxed and awake. That's actually where creativity begins. To figure out the how, start by becoming relaxed Edison and Einstein both did that to create new things. Learn how to reassure yourself. That's the opposite of self-doubt. Thinking that you can even without knowing how. Believing in your value and your worth without needing any evidence to support it. I mean, how many of you when you were in junior high were walking to school having this thought, yes, so many people are going to be liking me today, yes. I mean, how many of you are concerned about whether or not anyone's going to like you? You know, I certainly was. That's self-doubt. Now, no baby is born with that. Whatever self-doubt you have, you learned from someone who is infected with the same illness. Doubt about our value, doubt about our worth. Powerful, fundamental cause of much stress. So I want to practice breathing, relaxing, reassuring myself that, yeah, I've got difficult things to deal with. Yeah, I've got challenges. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. But it's okay for me to have them. And thinking positive is not a Pollyannish thing. It's doing what Stephen Covey says in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, begin at the end. Actually imagining that goal, and then I'm going to figure out how to get there. We just tend to stay worried with, oh my gosh, how am I going to make this happen? And smile at the humor. So I'd like you to practice that this afternoon. Just when you leave here, just like walk out here, and for no reason, I want you to smile for 60 seconds. Just stand out there smiling. Now, just in your imagination, notice what you're thinking about what it would be like to do that. What will people think? I mean, just imagine walking downtown, and you're just smiling. You see someone smiling, bopping down the road. What do you think about them? You know, what's going on with them? We've been trained that we need an excuse to be happy. And it's not true. You do not need an excuse to experience joy. You can just cause it because you want to. But if you believe you can't, I can't be happy, I've got this challenge. I can't be happy, I've got to deal with this. This person wronged me. I have to be upset to prove to them how wrong what they did was. They don't care. You don't have to be in a miserable situation and also be miserable. Being in the miserable situation is bad enough. These ideas have made a profound difference in my life. When I got shot, I was walking home from the drugstore, car pulled up, driver got out, I thought he was going to ask directions. He came over and grabbed me, which I didn't expect. Somehow I was able to step out of his reach. He pulled out a gun from behind his belt, and you know, in such a startling moment, I actually didn't think about the gun. I didn't think about getting shot. I thought, well, he's going to rob me. Well, I breathed, I relaxed, I reassured myself in an instant because I've been practicing for 10 years, and I thought, that's okay. I'll give him the money I got, and I'll make more. So I just went through this little movie, what I'm going to say, what he's going to say, you know, I'm going to say what he wants, he's going to say, give me your wallet, I'm going to give him the wallet, you know, and that's going to be cool. So I just said, what do you want? And he smiled and shot me, which I didn't expect. That was like not part of my movie at all. So everybody take a deep breath. I'm the one who got shot, okay? But notice how you tense your muscles and hold your breath just at the thought, oh my God. See, the miracles are that the bullet stuck in the sternum. It didn't enter my body at all. It grabbed the shirt and spun the material around the bullet, and it created wadding, and I didn't bleed, not a drop. It didn't knock me down. I think it kind of scared the guy because they ran away, kind of da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And I turned to go to the first house with a light on, knocked on the door. The guy who opened the door was wearing operating clothes, which I thought was a good sign. That was encouraging. He was a heart surgeon. Not only that, he was one of the best heart surgeons in Houston. And I said, I think I've been shot. And he said, come in. When the ambulance came, I was not in pain. I was probably in shock, but I don't remember any pain from that. I've been hurt worse playing football. So I just got up to go out. They said, oh, no, no, you have to lay on this cot, and we're going to have to take you out, you know. And okay, so I got on the cot. Then they couldn't get me out of the house. It was around the corner. And, okay, you're going to have to get off the cot. So, okay. You see, I was aware of the humor in the moment. I was breathing, relaxing, reassuring myself, thinking positive. I mean, isn't this a good story? I'm a speaker. What am I looking for all the time? I mean, I'm in the ambulance. This is a great story. I'm taking notes. Honest. only because I'd been practicing this at the stoplight, in the grocery store line, when my kids are being kids, when the computer crashes, in the elementary school lessons in life. So when the graduate school lessons come, which they will, you got some muscle going. So you want to learn how to practice moving from the automatic stress reaction to the stress management response all throughout the day. So how many times are you going to have something not be the way you want it to be? I think maybe 20 times a day we're forced to stop and wait. So you're already good at the automatic stress reaction. You're already going to do that. What you want to learn how to do is notice it when you're doing it. Oh, that's not an automatic stress reaction. Don't beat yourself up. Don't go, oh, what am I doing getting stressed? You just add more stress to the stress. Breathe. Relax. Reassure yourself. Think positive. This will work out. And it'll be wonderful. And then look for some humor. And the more you practice that, the easier it's going to be to move through the stress as it's happening, stop it right then so it doesn't continue. So you don't build it up all throughout the day, which is what most people are doing. You actually go through the day reducing it throughout the day. Now there are tools and techniques in each one of these that are helpful to learn, but that's generally the idea about it.